Hi there. Just thought I'd do a video on my completed landscaping. Just to get started, I don't have any experience in landscape design or actual work. I'm in the hospitality field. I teach bakery, baking and pastry cooking, so this is a whole new thing for me. So we built the house. It's been about 7 months since we've moved in, and I've now completed everything that I sort of want to do, except for a little bit out the side, which will come in time. Now here we have the front. It's not symmetrical to the front of the house. As you can see, the plants there, they're not symmetrical with the front of the house. The reason being is that I've decided to put steps in. I did that because I wanted basically the look of walking down to the front door. If I hadn't put the steps in, I could have made that a lot more symmetrical and lined up actual with the pillars and everything else. So it was done on purpose, and the steps have pretty much no use except for the visual appeal, which I liked and I wanted. So yeah, so that was basically the thought there. I have put feature lighting in, which I'll take a video at night so you can see that. But for the front here, I've used the bluestone pavers. I can't remember the size, but they're on a concrete bed. All the paving that you see throughout is done on a concrete slab or concrete bed individually for each paver. The edging that you see there is it's called a Form Boss rusted edging. I believe it's red core, or there is a newer one available now. Comes in shiny steel form and rusts over time, so it's rusted up quite nicely. It's just a black mulch on that. The irrigation system, you can see that poly pipe just there. That connects to the bottom bed and then obviously runs past all those trees across there, and then it runs through the whole garden. The plants and things I can't remember the names of, so I won't worry about that. That's the golden halo. The reason I know that is because it's on the label right there. They are a Hebe, which I do really like. They're an evergreen, so they don't lose any leaves, and they will only get bigger. Plant is to have a gold, green and gold basic structure, I guess you could say. Got a few ficus there. Water feature is connected to mains power, which runs over through there and under the paving at the site. Another highlight with the rusted edging there. It's 230mm high, I think. It is quite expensive, but it is a very good quality, and I believe it will last for a long time. Yeah, quite easy to bend and work with. So the irrigation does run all the way along here. It's connected to that tap there. That I've just sort of done that as a bit of a thing. I've left the scoria there, which is not everyone's cup of tea, but I actually like the difference in colour a little bit, so it's not all the same two sort of tone. So the steps, they're just a concrete paver. I believe they were 200 by 400. Don't quote me on that, but these steps weren't designed with any specific measurements in thought at all. It just happened to be that when I did the retaining wall, you can see it ended there, so I figured I'll make the step there and then it will sort of match up nicely. Underneath, I've actually put in the stacker. You can see that I've put the stackers underneath. That's 2 layers for that one, and then the top step there, it's only the single layer. I did that as a base because it was very hard to find any information on how to do steps out of pavers. I didn't want to have to dig, or not dig, but I didn't want to have to put any timber supports in. I preferred to stay away from the timber just because I'm not confident, and I wanted this to sort of last for a long time without any long-term maintenance. So that's why I've sort of chosen to go down that path. Now the retaining wall here is a Adbury masonry, I believe it's Versa wall blocks. Very easy to use, very easy to install. The main part was the base prep, which I dug out, hired an excavator, dug out about 300 mil, put some road base down, compacted that, hired a plate compactor, compacted that, and then put down some sand on that to make it so it was level. Basically, once that was level, I just stuck them on top of each other. Now, when I say it's complete, there's about 99% complete. The 1% is that part there, which I just haven't got around to finishing it. I do have extra blocks there, so I will eventually get the angle grinder out and cut and clean that up a little bit more, but at this point in time I don't really, it's not something that's on my to-do list at this point. So I have Aggie pipe running all the way along this wall, which actually goes up to about here, so therefore there won't be any water build up there. I've run the Aggie, I've got scoria underneath that, so you can actually see the plastic sheeting. So I've got the plastic sheeting there. Then I ran the geotextile cloth, which is a white landscape fabric, scoria on top of that, Aggie pipe. Don't ask me the angle of the slope, I just did it so it wasn't flat, and so it did actually slope down. More scoria, 20 mil scoria on top of that, and then cover that with the Aggie pipe, with the geofab, and then covered it with a bit of topsoil. So that's that part there. Now over this side here, it's just the small stones. What I will say is I will never get 7 mil stones again. While they look quite nice, they're very hard to keep nice and smooth and level. Footprints and things like that do show up quite easily, and they're quite hard to keep clean. But there is a solution. There is actually a product that Soilworks sell, which is called Rock Lock, or it's something similar to that. As you can see, I've put it onto this front part here. My foot is pressing down and it's quite firm, so it actually locks the rocks in place for the stones, which is really good because, like I said, it was very hard to keep them all nice and straight. People walk, dogs walk on them, and it's just it's just easier. So over to the side here we have another garden bed. I didn't actually have to excavate that much out of here. I've just put extra edging and extra pegs in there just to keep that nice and straight. I've put about a cubic metre of topsoil in here, or maybe not even that. So I've used the soil for plants, obviously. At the back I've used topsoil that is more for grass. So here there's more paving again, concrete base. These are just steps here. These were basically left over from the side and the rear, so I've just used them to make stepping stones into the backyard. I did use a string line for that. Most of the other stuff I started using string line and sort of gave up on that because it wasn't really, I kept moving it and it just wasn't easy to work with. At this point in time there is no nature strip. The council will put that in, I believe, this month, which will be a lot nicer. And yeah, so this bit here is pavers again. So concrete pavers from Bunnings. These are the premium range, and then on the border I've just done the grey 100 by 200. Same stones as the front, 7 mil. Don't ask me the name, I can't remember. I could probably find out. If you're really interested, ask me. And I'll be able to find that out somewhere. This one here is just in front of the bedroom window. I got that plant as a gift, and I've just put that there to give a bit of colour. I'm not going to put anything in there. I don't think it needs it, to be honest. I don't want to overkill the garden. So here we have the second part of the paving, which leads on to the backyard. So single file. What actually happened here was the gate had to be moved further back than the power board because of the NBN box. Therefore, the original plan was to put the gate right where that connects to the double pavers. I had to move that back because of the NBN box. So still, it's not so bad. So that box there is what all the lighting, mind the mess, but that connects through there, and then it goes up through there, and so it's all 12 volt LED lighting. Again, I'll show you a video at night so you can actually see what it looks like. I've just got a few spotlights, feature lighting throughout the front yard, just to highlight a couple of the trees. Yeah, that's that's about it really for the front. Now, with the base that I had to work with, it was, this whole estate is very much clay, so it was very hard to work with, very messy, very sticky. I started in the middle of winter, which was not a great idea, so I'd sort of be working at night, rain, not snow, but very cold weather. So if we go through to the back here, this is the path. There's the dogs. Hey boys. So this path here basically goes all the way along. At this point in time, there is nothing on this left-hand wall. I am going to put some screening plants, so neighbours be gone, or something that will get up to, I'm sort of looking at level with the top of the gate there. So eventually that will happen. I've got Aggie pipe running because this area here was flooded. Basically this whole back left corner was constantly full of water. There was no drainage at all in there, it was just sitting on the clay. So I've run Aggie pipe all the way down. If you can see the hedges there, the little box hedges, there's a little box there, drain, can't remember what they're called, but that thing, whatever it's called, connects to there, and then it goes underneath that grate, which actually runs into the Aggie, and then there's actually a stormwater pit or stormwater connection under there, so that's where that connects to. Since I've put that in, there has been no water sitting there at all, even though we've had a lot of rain, so it's actually worked quite well. You can see the little spotlights that I've put along there as well. Same system, it's brilliant lighting, I think they are. So this is just for the clothesline. The paving isn't perfect by any means, but I'm quite happy considering that I hadn't done anything like this before. And again, concrete bed for all the paving. I know that you can do it on sand, screed the sand, and I sort of looked at that, but I'm not confident in leveling things, so I preferred to use a concrete, not only for the I guess ease of putting it together, but also the long lasting effect of the concrete as opposed to the sand. I know that the pavers have been in there now for about 4 months, and they haven't moved, and I don't believe they will. So it's probably, I couldn't tell you how thick the concrete is underneath, but these are just a concrete paver from Bunnings again. The border is the same, 100 by 200 paver. The pavers themselves are 400 by 400, and purchased them from Bunnings. So there's the grid. The reason I put that in is just to basically connect the two different pavers together. So I've got pavers there as well. Now these pavers here are actually a black limestone. The concrete ones here are 40mm thick, whereas the limestone are only 15 mil. 150 mil, 1.5 centimeters. There you go. Got air conditioner put in a couple of weeks back. Yeah, so you can sort of see the concrete underneath. Again, I know it's not perfect. I'm not saying it is, but I'm quite happy with the result. So this whole area here, the black limestone pavers and the back corner there, and also the path, that was about 40 bags of concrete, and about 4 cubic meters of sand. So that's how much I had to use to sort of do this area here. You'll notice that there is quite a slope. I don't know if you can tell, there is quite a slope going away from the house around all sides. I've made sure that, yeah, that I didn't get any water running back to the house again. This edging here is, I don't like it, but I needed it to be high because of the retaining wall, and again the clay, so I wanted something with a bit of height. Not necessarily the best looking stuff, but it was quite cheap and it does what I want it to do. Over here I have the outdoor power box again, so that's IP67 rated. I think when it's closed, it's not closed, I know, but still works. And you can see the white conduit there. That is actually the power supply that runs all the way from the front down under there, and then I've got conduit running along there to protect it from the sun. And it works quite well. Up here I've got it's not a bug zapper, it's a bug catcher. It's a gecko and it works absolutely fantastic. Since we've had that in, we haven't had any problem with mozzies at night, and it works really well. These stones here are the same as what are out the front. They're the 20mm, and I've got some black ones in there which needs to be cleaned up a bit. They were a black shiny stone. This area here also has aggie pipe running along the edge of the black pavers under there, and it actually goes up under those planter boxes there, and that's mainly from that back corner and also from the people behind. The water runs down along there as well, so that sort of protects that area there. Water feature purchased from Bunnings. Nice, it's quite loud. I've put stones in there to try and reduce the noise a bit. It does have an LED light. The only issue with this particular water feature is that in the wind it uses a lot of water. I mean, I think it's got a 10 litre capacity. In a windy day, if it's on all day, it'll empty out quite easily. So I wouldn't recommend that for water usage or windy areas. Now this panel here I purchased from Soilworks. It's 1.8 by 1.8. What happened when I put it in, I've put it in posts. I did put the posts in concrete, timber posts, so put them in. I put them down about 400 I think, because again the clay, very hard to dig, and I figured that was enough because there is gaps there, the wind shouldn't take that anywhere. Now underneath you can see the Merbu panels. I basically purchased 2 of them, cut them in half, and that was a 1.8. So that just fills up the bottom gap there. You can see that the sun has damaged that quite a bit. It doesn't really concern me. 2 pots there. Don't ask me what those flowers are. They're nice and they should creep. So the plan is for them to creep up on either side and meet in the middle somewhere. I've also got the irrigation running in there and also to the other one as well. Which continues around the back. I don't know if you can sort of see that. So that runs along there. Also runs along these. Runs along the fence there. There, and then it runs all the way down. Connects back down there. And then it runs along the whole entire bed, all the way around to the shed, behind the shed. And then the tap is over there, which I'll show you a bit later on. Now the path here, these 2 pavers here are actually different. That's a Pearl, I believe it was. It was a Pearl premium paver from Bunnings. When I went back to do this section here, they had none of them left. So this is actually it's a gunmetal or something like that, a metal sort of effect. Very similar in colour. I couldn't really tell the difference, so I just kept that sort of there. I've continued that border around throughout, and it looks okay. I mean, the paving isn't great, but again, it's on a concrete bed, so it shouldn't really move. This pergola here is purchased from Bunnings. It was on display. It does open and close quite easily, so you can block the sun, and it's a really good area to sit in the afternoon. Nice sunshade, and yeah, it's quite nice. Whereas this one here is actually a straight co, so I paid for that to be installed. I've put some blinds up there as well to protect the sun. The sun does set on this side, so it does get quite warm in the afternoons, but it's got the insulated cool deck paneling. We're really happy with that. It's a really nice veranda, and it's got the pipe there going down. It's a really nice job. Doesn't match up on the outside there, but what happens is when you walk from inside out, you can see that it actually joins on quite nicely with the roof line inside. So yeah, so the black limestone pavers again, I think total was about 140 of these pavers. They're 500 by 500, and so eventually we would like to cover this area as well, but unfortunately it wasn't in the budget for this point in time. So now onto the grass. I mowed it yesterday, so it's there is a few patches. We've got 2 dogs, as you probably saw before. There is a bit of dead stuff there. This is where they like to lay in the afternoon because it is shaded. So there is a little bit of wear there, but generally speaking, I'm quite happy with it. It's a sapphire buffalo turf purchased from Melbourne Brick. It is a more expensive type of grass. It is bred, I believe, from the first Sir Walter, but it's a little bit different as Sir Walter. It is very soft to feel. It's a nice evergreen grass. It also has the best shade tolerance of any, not just buffalo, but I believe any grass in general. So it thrives in the sun. And also tolerates the shade quite well. Now that sprinkler there is the Aqua Contour by Gardena. I've had this put in since I moved in basically, and it's an automatic sprinkler. I'll turn it on a little bit so you can sort of see what that does. But I mean, that covers the entire area, goes around the pavers. There is quite a few reviews on that online. I did mow yesterday, but I didn't do the edges, but that's okay. It's still alright. And there's more of that rusted edging around the edge there, so that has no extra support apart from the stakes that come with it, or that you can purchase with it. They are quite expensive, and but I mean, I personally like the look of it. I think it looks really nice, especially with the black and the green on either side. A few snowball trees there. We've got a nice weeping cherry which is going really well. This is the veggie patch on the side, which is sort of doing okay. Most of it's looking quite healthy. Chili tree in the corner there, and then my little shed, which is absolutely tiny, but that's all I need. Now with the base of the soil, I did actually run Aggie pipe, basically maybe half a metre from the edge of the paving. I've run it down there, and it follows the outline of the paving all the way down, and then all the way across to just near the corner of the grass there. It then runs straight back up to where that little bend starts right there. So it actually connects down, runs down, connects there, and then it actually connects to the stormwater, which is under that downpipe there. I also have a few channels running from the house down, and also from this area here. I am going to try and put photos in once I've made this video, so it sort of shows what drain I've put in, or what drainage I've put in. I've also run a few channels down here without the Aggie pipe, but just scoria with some of that geofabric on top. And since I've done that, there's been no water build up whatsoever, which has been really good. I was worried about that corner down there. It was building up when I first laid the turf, but since I've mowed it, it's when I laid it in September, yeah, late September, so it's been about two maybe going on 3 months now. The grass has been put down. I didn't go with the recommended topsoil quantity. They recommended 20 to 30, I believe, 15 to 25 centimetres of topsoil on there. I only put, in some parts, I put 5 centimetres. The most that I put down was probably this area here. I did it all by hand. I bought a soil leveler, which was my best friend, because the other option is, I guess, a rake. But the soil leveler is absolutely worth the money. It was about 60 bucks, and it made it a little lot easier. So yeah, so the paving, I've also got the sort of drain there, so that's the end of the stormwater, which continues along here to here, where I've connected from this area here. It all connects down to here, and then that continues along underneath there. So I've put in some other pavers down here. These are the black limestone again, concrete bed once again, and again I just had these left over, so I just put steppers in to the shed. Black edging along here, which is the same as the front. It's quite good. It's like a compound sort of, I don't know what it is, it's like a plastic edging. Quite easy to work with, quite easy to bend, and it's very easy to break. So it's, you know, it's good to break or put corners in. And with the rusted edging, I've just bent that. It is quite easy to bend. You can see the hose there at the back. That's going to the sprinkler, and then to the left of that with the green light, that is the weeper hose that goes all the way around. So I've got a moisture sensor there, which I would not buy again. I would probably get a rain sensor. I don't really think I need it, but anyway, got it, and it sits there. The reason I've put this little corner in here is because under there, that section there, it's actually got the sewerage. So it's a big concrete drain. So I've put this in here, and I've just covered that over with the black mulch to hide that a little bit. So over to this area here, we have, I suppose you could say it would be the dead end of the house, or dead side of the house. But what we've done, my mum lives with us, she's got 2 cats and 2 dogs, so we've actually put the cat house in there with a tunnel going to her bedroom, so they can access that. That way they don't have to go outside, and it keeps everyone happy. Now, see here that hose that's running along there, and you can see that black poly pipe. That is the connection to the hose is connected to the sprinkler, and the poly pipe is connected to the weeper hose, which actually connects up to here. So I've got a pressure reducer on the weeper hose, and then on the sprinkler I've just connected it straight to the tap. It's a Gardena system. It's a Gardena sprinkler, twin tap timer. The only thing I don't like about that is that you can't actually adjust. You can adjust 3 times a day, but you can't say when. You can only do it every 8 hours, every 4 hours, and so on. So you can't actually say you want it to go on in the afternoon. You have to sort of let it decide based on what time you start it, which doesn't make sense to me, but anyway. So the poly pipe, again, it goes down there. I've got a T-junction in there, runs along the fence and goes all the way to the front. So that continues to that front right-hand side garden bed. Now this here is a imitation grass, fake grass. It is called Cool Plus, I believe. It's an Australian-made synthetic grass. Can't remember the name of it. It's quite expensive. It was 40 mil thick, but it does stay cooler. I haven't really spent much time, but it does look a lot better if you actually brush it, and because it's walked on quite a bit, you can see that it's just pushed down. But if you have a look on there, that's the sort of appeal that you've got. There is a join here somewhere, which I can't see. Oh, that's good. Join's gone. So the synthetic grass under that, I've got about 25 to 30 centimetres of crushed rock. You know, you can sort of put it on road base and then a bit of crushed rock on top of that, but I found that the crushed rock was just going to be easier. So I basically put that down, compacted it, hosed it down, compacted it again, and that's basically how it sort of come out. And then again, I've sloped it away from the house. It doesn't hold any water. It's quite good for the water flow. The water doesn't sit on it; it just goes straight through. This is a cat house, so, and then you can see the front over there. So there's air conditioner box. That's the tunnel that we've put in from the bedroom. That way the cats don't have to really come out. Now that power down there, I've put a spotlight up there, solar. That runs down into there, and then that runs across to the outdoor power box there. Holman hose and reel there. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm just trying to think of what else I can sort of say, but I'm quite happy with the result. It's a nice area to sit out the back here. I didn't want too much grass, but I did want a bit of grass. But the Sapphire Buffalo is definitely a nice grass. It's very soft to walk on. It does struggle a bit with the holes. If you know, gets a bit of hole in it, it's gonna take a bit of time to come back, but hopefully it will be okay. I did edge this last week. It's still looking okay. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't really know what else I can say. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so this is the actual sprinkler. It is the Gardena Aqua Contour automatic. I purchased this before I actually put the grass in because I knew that I would have to set it. So I did that for the grass, but I also did it... Riley! I also purchased it before so I could see where the water would sit. That way it helped me organise the drainage. So it basically works quite well. It does go along the edge. I don't know if you can really see it there. It's hard to see in this sort of light. It's a lot better in the morning when you've got the light going through it. You set the perimeter. It's got 50 points that you can basically change. It does take a bit of time to set up because it's not always the same. When you set it, you turn it on, you let it go, and it never really goes to where you originally set it at. I've probably done it 5 or 6 times now, readjusted it. I've unfortunately had to return it twice because the second time I went to readjust the actual flow, it wouldn't do anything. So it does come with a 5-year warranty. They replaced it, no problems at all. So I've had 2 new systems. This one that I've got now is, it's been the best out of all of them so far. It has lasted probably a month, and it, look, I don't see it being an issue. It runs on batteries. I think it's 6 C-cell batteries, C-size. I believe they last a couple of years. It doesn't use much power. You'll see it just coming around here now, hitting the edge of the pavers. It extends around and then gets, if I can see where it's actually going. Yeah, but once it's set up, it's fine. It hits everywhere that it should. I've actually on purpose got it going over the pavers a little bit just to make sure that it gets the edges, and that way it'll make the grass grow sort of nicely and evenly. It's got 5 jets that come out from the spout, I have to say it gives really good coverage. I haven't had to move it, I've just set it, and you basically set it and forget it. Once it's set, you don't have to worry about moving it. I haven't had to hose or anything like that to get this sort of coverage. It covers the whole entire area, and even though it's only got the 5 jets, they do spray quite well. So I'm quite impressed with it. So that is the Aqua Contour Automatic by Gardena. Yeah, quite happy with it.